My training method includes 4 phases of training. The Phase 1 training is general manners and behavior. Phase 2 is fundamentals and groundwork. Phase 3 is horseplay. That's where the trick horse training comes in. And Phase 4 is training for advanced disciplines. The prerequisites for trick horse training are Phase 1 and 2. Some of the elements of Phase 1 training include leading, tying, bathing, grooming, tacking, feeding, and move over. Phase 2 elements include round penning, lunging, backing up, a pivot on the forehand and haunches, all important desensitizing, and if riding, walk, trot, and canter. To find out more about the 4 training phases, you can go to HeidiHerriott.com. So we've talked about what you need for your horse to get started with trick training. Now I want to introduce you to the tools and tack that we're going to be using in our training series. First, you need the old-fashioned webbing or leather halter. We're actually going to be hooking reins right into the side of this, so you need this type of halter. We're going to put a set of reins on that halter, a set of continuous reins that have snaps on the end. You're also going to need a lunge line. A nice soft cotton works great. A good snap on the end of it, about 10 feet long, is just about right. Bring a lead rope as well. Again, probably between 4 and 6 feet long with a good snap on it. An important part of our trick horse training is a single hobble. This goes right around their left ankle. This is a real important part for our bow, the pedestal, and some other tricks we'll be training down the road. We're going to have a little fun teaching your horse to pick up with the mouth. So we have a handkerchief, just a bandana. Put a little feed or treats just right in the middle of it, tie that up, have that on hand. For treats, I prefer alfalfa cubes. They're inexpensive, the horses love them, and they work great. Whatever treats you like, and a little treat pouch to put them in. And then you're going to need a little dressage whip or riding crop, preferably a little dressage whip on hand. An optional thing is a pair of leather gloves to keep your hands from getting hurt through all the ropes. Those are the tools and tack we'll be using for the first series of our trick horse training. Now with that in mind, I'd like to cover my principles of training. Now these are the principles, the things you want to consider when you're training each and every interaction with your horse actually. The first is safety first. Very important. I try to make sure every time I interact with the horses and those around me that we have a safe environment. Patience. You want to bring your patience to the barn and the training ring. Very important. Capability. We want to make sure the horse is capable of what we're asking them to do. Consistency and clarity. We want to be very clear, concise, and consistent with our cues, our mannerisms, that type of thing. Repetition. Very important. When we're clear, concise, we also want to repeat. Repetition is a very, very important part of training our horses, especially the cues in trick horse training. Reward, very important. We want to praise the horse. We want to praise the horse verbally. Good boy, good girl. We want to praise them physically, a lot of petting. And we do want to use treats, but we want to use the treats on an occasional basis, not as a beg. We're going to cover that in a lot more detail during these episodes. We want to talk about discipline a little bit. It's important that your body language, your voice commands, and sometimes your tools assist you when your horse is doing something unwanted and unsafe. And finally, progress. Now this is something that sets me apart from the other trainers, something I learned. I'm a 3rd generation trainer. My father has drilled this into us. We need to progress. We need to move forward with our training and help set ourselves up for success. So those are my principles of training. As always, they can be found online at HeidiHerriott.com. I'd actually encourage you to go ahead and print those out, post them in your barn, take a minute to review them before you start any training process. And I do believe it will help you set yourself up for success. You can go to HeidiHerriott.com.